In terms of the quarterbacks and all those things, I mean, obviously we'll continue to coach Cam and keep building off the good things that he's doing. We have PJ here. We'll find out about Sam today and his health. I'm not going to look into the future. No hypotheticals. If Sam is healthy, we will practice him and see kind of where he's at. I think it's a good opportunity to see, shake some of the rust off him and see where he's at in the process. So I can't speculate in terms of who will be the full-time guy this week until I have more information.
Well, you just got to keep working. You know what I'm saying? I think that the harsh reality about what we do is we only get judged on Sundays. So never mind what you're going through personally. Never mind, what the things are that's happening on the field as well as off the field. As a production piece, that's what we're analyzed on. So.
Michael, Cam Newton said something really powerful there. And it's not unusual, but it's still powerful. When he said we only get judged by what we do on Sundays. And I think that's apropos for this situation because Cam Newton, I can say this. I've had a lot of comments about Cam Newton. Had a lot of fun at his expense. It's never been personal. Okay, I like Cam Newton a lot. But I have seen this the last year and a half with Cam. And I didn't know this before. Cam Newton is that dude. Like, if you want to talk about just quality individual, I didn't know that he was just such a magnet for people. He's extremely relatable. His teammates generally like him. They enjoy him. He just has a way of getting everybody, whether it's the number one guy on the roster or the 53rd guy, he has a way of just getting everybody involved. It's like a community party with Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. It's like our party, man. It's the block party. It's the Roots picnic. It is that cookout, that mythical cookout. Cam Newton is the maitre d' of the whole thing. So I didn't realize about him until recently, and I feel like he's doing a lot of things, a lot of good things, Monday through Saturday. On Sunday, it's not working out for him. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand why Matt Rule, because of what I just said, I don't understand why Matt Rule is taking the approach that he's taking with Cam Newton. Look, Mike, this is a guy who a year and a half, talking about Matt Rule here, a year and a half into his NFL career, ain't called out nobody. He has Sam Darnold at quarterback. Sam Darnold turned the ball over left and right. He ain't saying nothing. He ain't got nothing to say. Hey, Matt, you there? Is the mic on? You ain't saying nothing about Sam Darnold. Cam Newton comes in. You're saying, hey, our quarterback can't do this. Cam put the ball on the ground a couple of times. Cam made the wrong read.
That was a run-pass option. The quarterback you shouldn't have thrown that. Yeah.
That ball shouldn't be thrown. It's a handoff. We get a first down.
Yeah.
What you doing, bruh? What's up with this? Why are you doing this with Cam Newton? And as I think about it, I've only got one, and it's just it's not a hot take. I got one guess. Okay. Matt Rule, a year and a half into his job with the Carolina Panthers, feels like, or maybe has been told, he's got to win a certain amount of games. His job's on the line.
He's feeling
maybe
the pressure.
Feeling some kind of way, insecure. Maybe that's the theme of today's show, insecurities, whether it's athletes or coaches. Yeah. Because this doesn't make any sense. You got a guy who came off the couch, as we previously discussed in our first episode of Won't He Do It? A guy who came off the couch, got into a game, scored a touchdown on a few snaps in an unexpected win over the Arizona Cardinals. A feel-good story, a son of Charlotte, adopted son of Charlotte.
More or less, yes.
The franchise guy.
Best
of the
player
Carolina
in franchise
Panthers.
history.
And you talk like, what's up? What's up? Like, Cam Newton ain't been with you since training camp. Why you acting like this?
Right. So a couple of things. Going back to my initial enthusiasm when Cam came back. Obviously, missed that one. He hasn't balled out the way I thought he would.
Yeah. No.
Far from it, actually. And this might be his last home game coming up this weekend. This could be a significant weekend in the career of Cam Newton. Last home game, last game as a Panther. That's why it would be his last home game. And he could be in his last few games in the NFL for all we know. He's looked bad. He's turned it over. He's struggled with the deep ball in particular. Maybe it's because he's been off, not familiar with the playbook. Maybe it's, and I've been in denial about this, maybe he's just not the dude that I thought he was. And I looked at last year and I was like, oh, extenuating circumstances. I looked at this offseason, extenuating circumstances. Now he's with the Panthers again, extenuating circumstances. Maybe he just isn't good anymore. Maybe. So, I talked about blind faith. What we've seen is a pattern here the last few years with Cam Newton, if we're just being real about it. On the flip side, this is where I thought you were going, and you did go there, but I'm going to go a little bit farther. There's a common denominator in Carolina as well. You cut Cam Newton, you brought in Teddy Bridgewater. Wasn't Teddy Bridgewater. He wasn't the guy. You brought in Sam Darnold. He ain't the guy. You brought in Cam Newton. He ain't the guy. You fired Joe Brady. You made a mistake with Joe Brady. At a certain point, you're looking a little funny in the light, Matt Rule. Like maybe the common denominator in Carolina is a common denominator with Cam. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, when the Panthers decide this offseason what to do at the quarterback position, they got to take a long, hard look as to whether that quarterback is in the best position to succeed with that head coach. Cam's 0 for his last 12 as a starter in Carolina. Cam,
I think they've already decided.
Should not be a. Well, I don't know. You think he's in his last days? You think they make a move at head coach?
I really
Look,
feel
Tepper ain't married to nobody. I wouldn't put it past David Tepper to pull a plug after 2 years.
But what do you think, though, Mike? But seriously, what do you think? Okay, and you broke it down because I wasn't even going back to Teddy Bridgewater, but I'm glad you brought him up. He didn't call out Teddy. He didn't call out Sam Darnold. Joe Brady was a statement. Maybe there was a whisper campaign about him, but it was a statement, hey, going in a different direction, but not really humiliated. Brady was not humiliated by Matt Rule. And I don't want to say that Cam is being humiliated by him, but he is being scapegoated. He's being called out.
In fairness,
we haven't called out other
now
people
in
before.
fairness,
why?
Now in fairness, yesterday, I beg your pardon. Yesterday, it was in an effort to overcorrect. Day of game, we heard what Matt Rule said. Yesterday, in an effort to overcorrect, it seems, Matt Rule was effusive in his praise of all the intangibles that you talked about at the beginning. The worker, the leader, the person, all the things that Bill Belichick said in New England. When you work, to know Cam is to love Cam. And Matt Rule yesterday, you'd have thought he was talking about, somebody completely different. Like, it was night and day. Like, day before you were talking about it's the quarterback's fault. Yesterday, he couldn't say enough nice things about Cam Newton. So maybe he realized that he'd gone too far. Part of the reason why I think he may say it about Cam Newton.
It ain't the first time he's done it, though. It's not the first time. He's done this before.
It's last couple of weeks. It's a continuing thing. Yeah. But I'm wondering, here's what I'm wondering is, and this isn't Cam's fault, Cam, by all accounts, welcomes it. Like, Cam wants the tough coaching. Cam wants the tough love. Like, sometimes people are so tough. Sometimes people are such strong leaders. Sometimes people carry such a weight that, other people don't recognize how much they're putting on them. And they're like, oh, he could take it. Like, I could call out Cam because Cam wants to be called out. Because Cam's Superman, and Cam in the press conference is like, hey, it's on me. He says all the right things. So the coach says, okay, it's on you. Well, let me put some more on you. Maybe that superhuman strength and exterior makes people comfortable with calling out Cam in a way that with other quarterbacks, they got to play with kid gloves. It might be as simple as that. Or it could be what you're saying, that Matt Rule is running out of scapegoats. Could be that too.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's it. Because if you're Carolina, what do you do? And if you're, and more specifically, I shouldn't say Carolina. If you're David Tepper, you talk about the owner, who's a lot of people have talked about him. He hasn't been in the spotlight that much lately. When he first took the job, a lot of people were intrigued by a very wealthy, very aggressive owner of the Carolina Panthers who was willing to question everything. Why do we do this? Hey, why not do something else? Why not do something else? Really the opposite of Jerry Richardson, who was that founding member, former NFL player, very conservative guy, establishment guy in a lot of ways. But David Tepper is not that. So if you're David Tepper and that's your personality, and there have been so many stories about how he has been obsessed with Deshaun Watson and, hey, let's do something, let's be aggressive, let's do it. The fact that he hired
Matt
Matt
stuck
Rule,
with Sam Darnold. Mind you, they're stuck with Sam Darnold next year because they picked up that option after trading a second-round pick and more for him, I think. Yeah, they're stuck with Darnold next year.
When you work for somebody like this, you ain't stuck with anything.
Well, that's
when
true.
David Tepper's the owner, you're not stuck with anything. Okay, I just want to say he might be on the roster, but he ain't not necessarily knighted to be the starting quarterback. But I wonder if he looks at it and says, I can do better than this. Come on, this is not why I got into the NFL. And young owners often go through this. That first hire, it's rare is the first-time owner who comes in, hires the first coach, and they just walk off into the sunset together, 10 years later saying, oh, we've come so far. Look, as we hold the Lombardi Trophy. There's some stops and starts.
Yeah.
And maybe it takes a firing or two to get it right. I'm telling you, if I'm Matt Rule, I'm very uncomfortable right now about my job status with the Panthers. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.